All right. So, day 16 and the day everybody was waiting for in the Trump trial. Michael Cohen is testifying. And they they played the recording that I mentioned from the very beginning, which is going to sink Trump. So, let's just get right to the article. Donald Trump was intimately involved with all aspects of a scheme to stifle stories about sex that threatened to torpedo his 2016 campaign, his former lawyer said Monday in matter-of-fact testimony that went to the heart of the former president's hush money trial. Everything required Mr. Trump's sign-off, said Michael Cohen, Trump's fixer-turned-foe and the prosecution's star witness in a case now entering its final pivotal stretch. In hours of highly anticipated testimony, Cohen placed Trump at the center of the hush money plot, saying the then candidate had promised to reimburse the lawyer for the money he fronted and was constantly updated about behind-the-scenes efforts to bury stories feared to be harmful to the campaign. We need to stop this from getting out, Cohen quoted Trump as telling him in reference to porn actor Stormy Daniels' account of a sexual encounter with Trump a decade earlier. A similar episode occurred when Cohen alerted Trump that a Playboy model was alleging that she and Trump had an extramarital affair. Make sure it doesn't get released, Cohen said. Trump told him. The woman, Karen McDougal, was paid $150,000 in an arrangement that was made after Trump received a complete and total update on everything that transpired, which, as an aside, the prosecution feels so confident in their case, she is not going to testify. Which, on the one hand, Cohen has a smoking gun. He recorded Trump. But on the other hand, it worries me a little. But, this is the hush money trial. Karen McDougal was paid for the catch and kill, not hush money. So, not exactly relevant, but kinda, sorta. All right. What I was doing was at the discretion of and benefit of Mr. Trump, Cohen testified. Trump had pleaded not guilty and denied having sexual encounters with the two women. Cohen is by far the prosecution's most important witness, and though his testimony lacked the electricity that defined Daniels' turn on the stand, he nonetheless linked Trump directly to the payments and helped illuminate some of the drier evidence, such as text messages and phone logs that jurors had previously seen. The testimony of a witness with such intimate knowledge of Trump's activities could heighten the legal exposure of the presumptive Republican presidential nominee if jurors deem him sufficiently credible. But prosecutors' reliance on a witness with such a checkered past, Cohen pleaded guilty to federal charges related to the payments, also carries sizable risks with a jury and could be a boon to Trump politically as he fundraises off his legal woes and paints the case as a product of a tainted criminal justice system. My understanding is that the prosecution, isn't denying any of this. It's not like they're trying to portray Cohen as something he isn't. My understanding is that they're well aware of the optics of this, and that they made it clear to the jury that they understand that. The men, once so close that Cohen boasted that he would take a bullet for Trump, had no visible interaction inside the courtroom. The sedate atmosphere was a marked contrast from their last courtroom face-off, when Trump walked out of the courtroom in October after his lawyer finished questioning Cohen during his civil fraud trial. About Cohen, that they used to be thick as thieves and now they're not. I really can't blame Cohen. I mean, Trump was willing to sell him down the river just to protect himself. So, if you're going to go all out to protect someone, but they won't reciprocate that, that's a problem. This time around, Trump sat at the defense table with his eyes closed for long stretches of testimony as Cohen recounted his decade-long career as a senior Trump Organization executive, doing work that by his own admission sometimes involved lying and bullying others on his boss's behalf. And based on his demeanor, especially against Trump, I can believe that this is a normal part of his personality, not that he was putting on an act. Jurors had previously heard from others about the tabloid industry practice of catch and kill, in which rights to a story are purchased so that it can then be quashed. But Cohen's testimony, which continues Tuesday, is crucial to prosecutors because of his direct communication with the then candidate about embarrassing stories he was scrambling to suppress. Cohen also matters because the reimbursements he received from a $130,000 hush money payment to Daniels, which prosecutors say was meant to buy her silence in advance of the election, formed the basis of 34 felony counts charging Trump with falsifying business records. Prosecutors say the reimbursements were logged falsely as legal expenses to conceal the payment's true purpose. Defense lawyers say the payments to Cohen were properly categorized as legal expenses. Well, I guess if you want to be technical, because you were paying your lawyer, I guess technically then that would fall under legal expenses, but he wasn't doing any lawyering. He was doing suppressing. So, under questioning from a prosecutor, Cohen detailed the steps he took to mask the payments. When he opened a bank account to pay Daniels, an action he said he told Trump he was taking, he told the bank it was for a new limited liability corporation, but withheld the actual purpose. I'm not sure they would have opened it, he said, if they knew it was to pay off an adult film star for a non-disclosure agreement. Sorry. I have the window open and the smoke from Canada is causing havoc right now. I can't say he was wrong about that. They probably wouldn't have. To establish Trump's familiarity with the payments, Cohen said Trump had promised to reimburse him and called him while the lawyer was on a December 2016 family vacation. Trump told him, "Don't worry about that other thing. I'm going to take care of it when you get back." The two men even discussed with Allen Weisselberg, a former Trump Organization chief financial officer, how the reimbursements would be paid as legal expenses over monthly installments, Cohen testified. Yes, Allen Weisselberg, the guy who actually did take a bullet for Trump, figuratively, he's in jail right now. So, yeah. And though Trump's lawyers have said he acted to protect his family from salacious stories, Cohen described Trump as preoccupied instead by the impact that they would have on the campaign. He said Trump implored him to delay finalizing the Daniels transaction until after Election Day so he wouldn't have to pay her. because, Cohen testified, after the election it wouldn't matter to Trump. Cohen also gave jurors an inside account of his negotiations with David Pecker, the then publisher of the National Enquirer, who was such a close Trump ally that Pecker told Cohen his publication maintained a file drawer or a locked drawer where files related to Trump were kept. That effort took on added urgency following the October 2016 disclosure of an Access Hollywood recording in which Trump was heard boasting about grabbing women sexually. I don't know why they can't keep beating around the bush. I mean, just say grab him by the pussy. I mean, even if you asterisk out a few of the letters. The Daniels payment was finalized several weeks after that revelation, but Monday's testimony also centered on a deal earlier that fall with McDougal. Cohen testified that he went to Trump immediately after the National Enquirer alerted him to a story about the alleged McDougal affair. Make sure it doesn't get released, he said, Trump told him. Trump checked in with Pecker about the matter, asking him how things were going with it. Cohen said. Pecker responded, "We have this under control and we'll take care of this," Cohen testified. Cohen also said that he was with Trump as Trump spoke to Pecker on a speakerphone in his Trump Tower office. David stated it would cost $150,000 to control the story, Cohen said. He quoted Trump as saying, "No problem, I'll take care of it," meaning that the payments would be reimbursed. To lay the foundation that the deals were done with Trump's endorsement, prosecutors elicited testimony from Cohen designed to show Trump as a hands-on manager. Acting on Trump's behalf, Cohen said he sometimes lied and bullied others, including reporters. No, really? That doesn't sound like Trump. He's never done anything like that at his rallies in public. When he would task you with something, he would then say, "Keep me informed. Let me know what's going on," Cohen testified. He said that was especially true if there was a matter that was troubling to him. Defense lawyers have teed up a bruising cross-examination of Cohen, telling jurors during opening statements that he's an admitted liar with an obsession to get President Trump. Well, Trump let him go to prison, so... So I can see why he would be bitter. I mean, that makes perfect sense. He went to jail for you, and you did nothing. You just turned on him. Prosecutors aimed to blunt those attacks by acknowledging Cohen's past crimes to jurors and by relying on other witnesses whose accounts they hope will buttress Cohen's testimony. They include a lawyer who negotiated the hush money payments on behalf of Daniels and McDougal, as well as Pecker and Daniels. Exactly. He's just saying what everybody else is saying. It's not like he's telling us something we didn't completely already know. Plus, there was that secret recording he took. After Cohen's home and office were raided by the FBI in 2018, Trump showered him with affection on social media and predicted that Cohen would not flip. Months later, Cohen did exactly that, pleading guilty to federal campaign finance charges. Cohen later admitted to lying to Congress about a Moscow real estate project that he had pursued on Trump's behalf during the heat of the 2016 campaign. He was sentenced to 3 years in prison, but spent much of it in home confinement. And this article doesn't mention the recording at all. It just says what Cohen testified to. Which some of that was actually on the recording, but it doesn't make it clear on this article. But yeah, Trump knew what was going on, even though that that one member of the Trump organization who claimed that they came up with the idea of legal expenses on their own, he still knew that this was happening. But Cohen's now testifying that he knew that it was going to be listed as legal expenses. So and Cohen was there with him, so it could be that the previous witness just didn't realize what was happening. That it was Alan Weisselberg who told him that, but it's not that it was his idea. And the guy who testified made it sound like it was his idea. So now we know that it was Trump's idea, which we kind of figured because the man's a micromanager. Everyone says he's a micromanager. So you could not file that as a legal expense without Trump knowing, even if it wasn't his idea to begin with. But it was his idea to begin with. And it was because the campaign, because otherwise, if it was Melania, why would he say, oh yeah, after the election, it won't matter anymore? Obviously, if he cared about, if this was about his family, it would still matter. But it wasn't about the family, it's about the campaign. So, that's all I have for this video. And with that, I will see you guys in the next one.